I am 80 years old and wish I had heard this at 60. If I could sit down with my 60-year-old self, I'd have so much to say, so much I wish I'd known, choices I wish I'd made differently. At 80, life grants you a gift, perspective. But it also comes with a price, the weight of lessons learned too late. I've come to understand that the years ahead are shaped by the small, seemingly insignificant choices we make every day. And the truth is, most of us don't realize what truly matters until it's too late. This isn't a story about regret, it's a story of hope. Hope that by hearing what I wish I'd known, you might avoid the same mistakes. This is your chance to write a different chapter for yourself. So if you're in your 60s, or even younger, stay with me. What I'm about to share could make the next 20, 30, or even 40 years of your life the best they can be. Don't just listen, take these words to heart and let them inspire action. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we can build a better future for ourselves and the ones we love. Now, let's begin. 1. Live authentically. Create your own path. When I turned 60, I thought I had life figured out. I followed the rules society laid out for me, building a career, raising a family, accumulating accomplishments that others would admire. By all external measures, I was successful. But as I sit here at 80, I can tell you one thing with certainty. Living to meet others' expectations is the fastest road to regret. Society has a way of telling us what success looks like. It whispers, climb the corporate ladder, buy the bigger house, or prove yourself worthy. But it rarely asks, what makes you truly happy? At 60, I wish I had stopped to ask myself that very question. Instead, I spent years chasing goals that weren't mine, only to realize later that I had been running someone else's race. Take David, a dear friend of mine. At 60, he was a high-powered attorney with all the trappings of success, yet he often confided in me about his longing to paint, something he hadn't done since his 20s. "I don't have time for hobbies," he'd say. He was too busy keeping up appearances, too afraid of being judged. He never picked up that paintbrush again. He retired at 70, and just 2 years later he passed away from a sudden heart attack. His dream of painting never saw the light of day. I share this not to bring sadness, but to underscore an important truth. Life isn't measured by accolades or possessions. It's measured by how true we are to ourselves. Living authentically means tuning out the noise of societal expectations and listening to the quiet voice within. It means asking, what do I want? What fulfills me? And then having the courage to pursue those answers. For me, the wake-up call came late, but not too late. At 70, I began exploring photography, something I'd always been curious about, but never pursued because it seemed frivolous. My weekends transformed from being filled with obligations to being filled with joy. I found myself more alive, more present. The happiness I experienced wasn't from the photographs themselves, but from honoring the part of me that had been ignored for decades. If you're in your 60s, there's still time to make a shift. Start small. Carve out moments to reconnect with what you love, whether it's gardening, writing, traveling, or simply spending more time with family. Reflect on your current life. Are the goals you're chasing truly yours? Or have they been shaped by what others expect of you? Remember, authenticity doesn't mean living selfishly. It means living meaningfully. You can be true to yourself while still being a responsible partner, parent, or friend. In fact, living authentically often makes you more compassionate and present for others because you're no longer weighed down by the pressure to conform. Don't wait until you're 80 to ask, what do I wish I had done differently? Start today. Life is too short to live by someone else's rules. Take the path that's yours and walk it boldly. 2. Relationships, the treasure you can't replace. At 80, when I reflect on what truly matters, it isn't the milestones of my career or the possessions I worked so hard to acquire. It's the people, the laughter around the dinner table, the comforting hugs during hard times, and the simple shared moments of joy. Relationships are life's greatest treasure, yet too often we realize their importance only after time has stolen many of those moments away. When I was 60, I believed I was doing everything for my family. I worked late hours, skipped family dinners, and missed birthdays because I thought providing a comfortable life was the ultimate expression of love. I didn't see how my absence left a void. My children grew up faster than I could imagine, and before I knew it, the bonds we once shared had weakened. Looking back, I can't count the number of times I said, "I'll make it up to them later." But later has a way of becoming too late. Science backs up what my heart now knows. Strong relationships aren't just good for emotional well-being, they're critical for physical health too. Studies show that people with close social connections live longer, have stronger immune systems, and are better equipped to handle stress. On the flip side, loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. At 60, these truths might not feel urgent, but by 80, they become painfully clear. So how do you nurture the relationships that matter most? First, prioritize presence over perfection. Your loved ones don't need you to be flawless. They need you to be there. Put down your phone, turn off the TV, and give them your undivided attention. Whether it's a heartfelt conversation, a shared meal, or simply listening without judgment, these moments build connection. Rebuilding relationships, especially those you may have neglected, requires humility and effort. I learned this the hard way with my daughter, Emily. By the time I retired and had more time to give, years of missed opportunities had created a distance between us. But I didn't give up. I started small, weekly phone calls, sincere apologies for my past absence, and showing up consistently. Slowly, our bond grew stronger. Today, she's not just my daughter, she's one of my closest friends. If there are people in your life you've drifted away from, it's not too late to reach out. Be vulnerable. Say, "I'm sorry," or "I miss you." Don't let pride or fear stand in the way of healing those connections. Remember, it's not about having a perfect relationship. It's about having a meaningful one. Finally, stay open to new relationships, even in later life. Join community groups, reconnect with old friends, or simply strike up conversations. Some of the most enriching friendships I've made have come after 70. At the end of the day, relationships are what anchor us. They bring joy, resilience, and purpose to our lives. Don't wait until you're 80 to realize their value. Start nurturing your connections now, and you'll build a legacy of love that will carry you through all your years. 3. Health. Exercise to live, not to survive. At 80, every step I take reminds me of the importance of movement, not just for staying mobile, but for truly living. When I was 60, I thought I had plenty of time to get serious about exercise. After all, I wasn't overweight, and I didn't have any major health problems. But now, looking back, I see how I underestimated the power of regular movement, not just for my body, but for my mind. Exercise is far more than a tool for weight loss or strength. It's a cornerstone of healthy aging. It keeps your heart strong, your bones sturdy, and your joints flexible. But what I didn't realize at 60 was how much it could do for my mental clarity and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that regular physical activity reduces the risk of dementia, improves mood, and lowers anxiety. I wish I had known then that something as simple as a daily walk could have been a gift to my future self. When I was younger, I always had excuses. I was too busy, too tired, or convinced that exercise wasn't necessary because I felt fine. But the truth is, by the time you feel the effects of inactivity, it's much harder to reverse them. If I could go back to 60, I would start moving regularly, not to survive old age, but to live it fully. So, how do you begin, especially if you're starting from scratch at 60? Start small. You don't need to become an athlete overnight. A 15-minute walk after dinner is enough to get the ball rolling. Gradually increase to 30 minutes a day and mix in activities you enjoy. Perhaps it's yoga for flexibility, swimming for low-impact cardio, or dancing to reignite your joy. The key is consistency, not intensity. Strength training is another essential element, especially as you age. It helps maintain muscle mass, supports bone density, and improves balance, key factors in preventing injuries. Bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups, or using light dumbbells can make a huge difference. And don't forget balance exercises like Tai Chi or simple standing leg lifts, which can prevent falls later in life. At 80, I now face mobility challenges that could have been minimized if I had started earlier. But even now, I keep moving. It's never too late to start. My doctor once told me, "The best exercise is the one you'll actually do," and that wisdom has stayed with me. The gift of movement is something only you can give yourself. Don't wait until it becomes a necessity. Start today and make exercise a celebration of life, not just a tool for survival. 4. Choose habits for a strong foundation. At 80, I often reflect on how much of life is shaped by the habits we build. The choices I made daily in my 60s, what I ate, how I spent my time, and even how I handled stress, seemed small and insignificant then. But now, I see how they compounded over decades, creating the foundation for my health, happiness, and well-being today. The truth about habits is simple. They're like seeds. Plant healthy ones, and you'll harvest a life of vitality and peace. Nurture unhealthy ones, and you may find yourself struggling with regret and preventable challenges later in life. I wish someone had told me this at 60. If they had, I would have been more mindful about the habits I was cultivating. Take smoking, for example. I used to justify my occasional cigarettes as a way to relieve stress, thinking I could quit any time. But what started as a small indulgence in my 40s became an ingrained routine by my 60s. It wasn't until my doctor warned me about the damage to my lungs at 70 that I finally quit. By then, I had lost precious years of good health. This is why habits deserve your attention now. They only become harder to break with time. So, how can you take control of your habits? Start with a simple inventory. Spend a week observing your daily routines. Write down every habit, both good and bad, without judgment. Next, categorize them. Which habits are serving your long-term well-being and which are silently harming it? Once you've identified areas for improvement, focus on one habit at a time. Trying to overhaul your entire lifestyle at once is a recipe for failure. Instead, pick one bad habit and replace it with a healthier alternative. For example, when I quit alcohol in my late 60s, I replaced my nightly glass of whiskey with a cup of chamomile tea. The ritual remained, but the impact on my health transformed. Anchor new habits to existing routines to make them stick. If you want to stretch daily, do it right after brushing your teeth. If you want to walk more, tie it to your morning coffee by strolling around the block afterward. The beauty of habits is that consistency, not perfection, is what matters. Small, positive changes repeated daily can create a life of strength, resilience, and joy. At 60, you still have time to shape your future self into someone your 80-year-old self will thank. Start today. You won't regret it. Fifth financial piece: security over excess. When I was 60, I thought I had financial freedom figured out. I earned well and believed I deserved to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Expensive dinners, lavish vacations, and the latest gadgets were my rewards for decades of hard work. But now, at 80, I realize that true financial peace doesn't come from what you spend. It comes from the security and freedom that careful planning and saving provide. The problem with overspending is that it feels good in the moment, but often leaves you vulnerable later. I learned this the hard way. At 65, an unexpected health issue drained a significant portion of my savings. For the first time in decades, I felt the weight of financial insecurity. It wasn't the luxuries I enjoyed in my 60s that brought me comfort during that difficult time. It was the money I had set aside. If I could go back to my 60s, I would follow one simple rule: save at least 10% of everything I earned. Consistently setting aside even a modest amount can build a safety net over time, especially with the power of compounding interest. Imagine having a fund that not only supports emergencies, but also allows you to pursue your passions without financial worry. That's the kind of freedom I wish I had prioritized earlier. Beyond saving, mindful spending is key. Ask yourself, does this purchase align with what truly matters to me? Instead of chasing material possessions, invest in experiences and connections, things that create lasting joy. For example, spending on a trip to visit family or supporting a grandchild's education offers far more fulfillment than the latest car or gadget. Practical strategies can make financial peace attainable at any stage of life. Start by creating a detailed budget. Write down all your expenses and categorize them into needs, wants, and savings. Look for areas to cut back. Small changes, like dining out less frequently or choosing more affordable entertainment options, can make a big difference. Learn about investing, even if you're new to it. Diversify your savings across low-risk options like bonds, mutual funds, or high-yield savings accounts. Consult a financial advisor if needed. This is your future we're talking about, and it's worth the effort. At 60, you still have time to make meaningful changes to your financial habits. Money doesn't buy happiness, but financial peace gives you the freedom to live the life you want. Prioritize saving and mindful spending now, and your future self will thank you for it. 6. Prioritize sleep, your body's natural reset button. If there's one thing I wish I had understood at 60, it's the value of sleep. Back then, I treated it like an inconvenience, something I could sacrifice for late nights of work or entertainment, always telling myself I'd catch up later. But at 80, I've learned that sleep isn't just rest. It's a reset for your entire body and mind. Neglecting it is like skipping maintenance on a car. You can get by for a while, but eventually the damage will catch up with you. Sleep is when your body heals, your brain processes memories, and your immune system strengthens. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired, it increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. I often wonder how much better I'd feel now if I had given sleep the importance it deserved decades ago. So, how can you prioritize sleep starting today? Begin by establishing a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up naturally. Next, create a sleep-friendly environment. Keep your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. Remove distractions like the TV, which can stimulate your brain and interfere with rest. Instead, develop a calming bedtime routine. Dim the lights, read a book, or listen to soothing music to signal to your body that it's time to wind down. Avoid caffeine and heavy meals late in the day, as these can disrupt your sleep. Similarly, limit screen time at least an hour before bed, as the blue light emitted by devices can trick your brain into staying alert. If you struggle with persistent sleep issues, don't ignore them. Conditions like sleep apnea or insomnia can have serious consequences, but are often treatable. Talk to your doctor and seek solutions. At 60, you have the opportunity to build a strong foundation of restorative sleep that will serve you well into your later years. Treat sleep as the vital health investment it is. Your mind, body, and future self will thank you. 7. Protect your energy. Avoid toxic influences. At 80, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is the importance of guarding your energy. In your 60s, you may still feel capable of enduring negativity or giving endlessly to others, but over time, toxic relationships take a toll, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. If I could go back, I'd be much more careful about the people I allowed into my life and the boundaries I failed to set. Not everyone who surrounds you has your best interests at heart. Some people, whether intentionally or not, drain your vitality. They bring constant negativity, drama, or demands that leave you feeling exhausted and unappreciated. I had a friend once who always needed something, a listening ear, financial help, or reassurance. For years, I thought I was being a good friend by always saying yes. But in truth, those interactions left me depleted and resentful. To protect your energy, start by recognizing how you feel after spending time with someone. Do they inspire and uplift you, or do you feel drained and anxious? Be honest with yourself, and don't feel guilty for prioritizing your well-being. Setting boundaries doesn't mean cutting people off completely. It means creating space to protect your mental and emotional health. Limit time spent with toxic individuals and learn to say no when necessary. If a relationship is deeply harmful, it's okay to step away entirely. Instead, focus on building a supportive community. Seek out people who share your values, encourage your growth, and bring positivity into your life. Join groups, volunteer, or reconnect with old friends who make you feel truly seen and appreciated. Your energy is precious, especially as you age. By surrounding yourself with uplifting relationships, you'll create a life filled with joy, resilience, and peace. Something no toxic influence should ever take away. Make today count. As I sit here at 80, sharing these lessons with you, one thing is clear. The choices you make today shape the life you'll live tomorrow. From embracing your authenticity to nurturing relationships, prioritizing health, and protecting your energy, every small decision matters. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're the building blocks of a life filled with meaning, peace, and joy. If you're in your 60s or beyond, don't wait for a wake-up call. Start now. Call a loved one you've drifted away from. Take a short walk today and commit to moving regularly. Reflect on your habits, your goals, and the people you surround yourself with. Most importantly, live authentically. Your story is yours to write. The beautiful truth is, it's never too late to make changes that matter. Whether you're 60, 70, or even older, the time to act is now. Your future self will thank you for every step you take today. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who might need these words. Together, let's build a community where we inspire each other to live our best lives at every age. Remember, today is a gift. Make it count.